What's going on, guys? Still in here today. We'll be going over a ticker symbol analysis on the ticker symbol BBAI, Big Bear AI Holdings Incorporation, guys. BBAI is really setting a spot we haven't seen in quite some time. Stock price really building a lot of energy. You know that the next few weeks of price action will lead to the overall trend, whether we'll get those massive run up to these $7 levels and beyond, or potentially a slow bleed off to these lower support zones being 280 and lower. With that being said, guys, we're going to remain unbiased throughout the whole analysis today, going through a multi-time frame breakdown on the stock. Let's go ahead over to the weekly, guys. Alrighty, guys, looking at BBAI. Clearly a very volatile stock. Doesn't take a rocket scientist to tell you that. We're looking at the weekly time frame, each one of these candles representing 1 week. So looking at the volume indication, that's the number one sign we will see with these low cap stocks, which have these parabolic-esque runs. Immediately, we have seen the volume has been very, very high. A lot of buyer interest over the last few months. Stemming from November, we're starting to see those big bars creep in, and eventually pushing into these very big bars of volume. And the current volume is very nice, guys. We do see an ascending profile on the volume. Very, very bullish. As in the past, when we had this incredible move, the stock price rallied all the way from 350 to $10, making that 170% movement. Within about a week, week and a half, we've seen a big, big volume, guys. And although we are off of that volume, we're actually quite close. And since trading in that, fashion, stock price and the volume kind of simmered down, and now we're seeing an increase moving up. So as far as a weekly perspective, there is a lot of chop, guys. We don't want to overanalyze these kind of weekly analysis setups as much as some other ones, right? There's a lot more data points, but we do see right away there is, a rough trend line moving down over here, guys. If we do see, some upside really from this resistance level over here, things could get very, very exciting quickly. As we've seen in the past, BBAI has that potential, guys, to have that short squeeze-like effect, these parabolic jumps up, just like we've seen in the past, right? One, two, and three, these three examples. And previously, guys, when we did break out last, we had that consolidation-like range. We're seeing something similar here, not quite as strong, being that, we were ascending here and a little bit more tight. But nonetheless, there has been, more or less a consolidation phase in the weekly. We're tracking back down all the way to this rough low zone, right? If you want to be very, very broad on the weekly. So looking at stock right away, you can clearly see there's a lot more room to the upside, being that we have retracted all the way down from these lows with a nasty 100% Fibonacci retracement, pull back exactly back down, sorry, to the beginning of the move, guys. So a little bit of a handful, but we're really, working with something simple here, guys. There's a lot more room to the upside, right? Being this 100% retracement, we're seeing stock consolidate, attempting to get that move up. As of now, guys, seeing this volume pump up, you got to be bullish. You got to be bullish on the weekly. Not a very strong bias. We will get more perspective when we jump into the next couple time frames. But right away, guys, you just see that if we can really reclaim these highs, right, reclaim these highs, you should see them move up, which we've seen in the past. So definitely is a lot of, resistance in this rough area, and that is where stock price is currently trying to break over. Right away, guys, on the daily, it's very clear. We have very cut, clear, dry resistance levels that, is very easy to spot. And the number one sign that this is very universal, guys, is that we do that massive, massive $5 level where stock did halt at for these 2 days after breaking out previously, right? And then we tested that one more time before getting that parabolic breakout. The major liquidity within the market did exit right as we pressed up into this double top and gapped over with volume. So we will be looking, at that $5 level, and that does match coincidentally with the $5 rough psychological resistance level. These hard numbers, guys, $5, $10, $1. Traders keep an eye on this, and we're seeing a continual pattern in that. As the next resistance we'll be watching on the daily time frame is $4.50, really being that other key spot for stock came all the way back up within, really, really nice 80% movement, retracting all the way down before consolidating for around a week in the zone. Whenever stock price holds above, that looks good, right? We still need to get about $5. But anything over here would be nice, guys. We have wicked out on the daily time frame once and twice over the last 4 trading days. So Starting to see that resistance happen on the daily, but buyers have been very strong, guys. If we get rid of all these drawings, of course, you see the ascending trend line, but just very, very clear, guys. Whenever stock price gets down in this area, buyers continue to step up and buy. We've had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 days of continual step up of price action whenever stock comes down to this level. So it's very, very simple. Technical analysis 101, guys, but we have been holding on this trend line for quite some time, really being a nice indication for where the stock price can go, right? Anything trading above that, buyers are still interested in this position. So with saying that, guys, we do this big support around that $3.50 zone, right? 350, 450. These rough levels are coinciding with psychological levels and the resistance, guys. So, we definitely feel we have a very simple roadmap ahead, guys. If stock chart can hold above this ascending support on the daily, continue to march up and get over this 450 and eventually that $5 meat and potato big psychological resistance zone. At that point, if stock can sustain that, there's a massive jump of about 30% in price action till the next resistance zone. As previously, when we did get that breakout, guys, there's a big wide bar moving in. Not a lot of data. There might be a couple wicks, maybe a little bit of a pause within this liquidity spot. But besides that, there's a major gap up and a clear $6.70 resistance level. So if stock price, really makes a movement off this nice volume we're seeing on the daily, guys, definitely could be a lot of upside, potentially 100%, in a few months. It really wouldn't surprise me, guys. And that's the number one thing we're seeing, guys. It retracts back to the weekly. Stock price had this volume step in. You see here, made these nice moves up before having this really nice pattern, guys. However you want to say it, this pennant, whatever sort of formation, it squeezed out at the end. Sellers trying to win at these areas, but they ultimately got squeezed out really, really hard. Buyers stepped in, and you've seen that short squeeze, guys. So to come all the way back down in this rough consolidation zone, that this is some padded support when we've seen that, massive breakout, guys. So sitting in this spot, even though it does show a lot of weakness, that stock price, they get smashed down. In these situations, there is a lot more upside than down. So definitely got to feel more bullish within this perspective, at least from a risk to reward standpoint. We can't, deny that we do this nasty liquidity shoving stock down, but we have seen the build back up. So with that being said, guys, on the daily time frame, we do remain bullish as of now. Right, as long as we hold this ascending support, guys, that will be the clear sign. If we break that, we should be moving down to $3.50. If that breaks, guys, within that standpoint, things would not be looking good as we drag down all this time to fill this gap, to start to get that move up before sellers pushed it back down. That would be a 101 fake recovery, guys. So definitely keep that in mind. If we do break these key levels, there's a lot of friction and energy building within this rough consolidation zone, guys. Definitely expect a big move to be had, over the next few weeks. So that is very abundant on the daily. We see it in many different, data points, having the volume, having it retrace back down to this consolidation, seeing stock hold very nice on this ascending support. So on the hourly chart, guys, we do see how strong this ascending support is. And this is the number one thing. If we want to take the one data point and get rid of every single one and bring the most important one, guys, as of now, right, buyers have continued to step up in these areas, holding at that exact spot for around 6, 7, 8 hours, very disciplined before getting that massive bounce, being a little bit extended, coming back down, consolidating, holding for another 6, 7 hours before bouncing, coming right back down for another 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, about 7 hours before getting that bounce once again, guys, coming down, bouncing once, twice, third hour, big bounce, coming right back down, holding in this rough zone for 1 day of price action before getting that move up. So once again, guys, we did get the bounce around that rough spot. Even though we didn't quite hit it, we did get the, support range, the buff around this spot. So you are seeing a little bit of upside. So you got to wonder, are we going to see that, retest of that 450? Very likely. Looking at the hourly chart, stock is nice. It's continued to base out and take its time. So when we do see some upside, if we do, in theory, shouldn't be anytime soon for a pullback. We should be pretty primed for that move up, being that stock has been really, really just tight, bouncing off this trend line. eventually we should be looking for that, test, break, and then eventual, extension and breakaway from this ascending support. Well, maybe down the line we come back down to it, but that's what you're looking like from a bull's perspective. Obviously, from the bears, guys, you want to see this ascending support be collapsed. So as far as an hourly perspective, guys, gotta feel pretty good about what you're seeing. You see some very big, nice wide bars in the mix as well. Buyers very, very present. Kind of cut this whole consolidation phase over, around 3, 4 days in 1 hour of price action. So that really lets you know there's a lot of liquidity in the market. So definitely gotta lean bullish on the hourly. Does look quite nice. Seeing another big wide bar for sellers. Try to step in, but stock presses right back up to end of day. Pretty strong. Right, looking at the 5 minute. Not really much to see here, guys, to be honest. This one doesn't have a ton of liquidity on the five, so but we're seeing these higher lows being printed, So as of now, stock does look good, but you can't ignore being in a very pivotal spot. So if we do break this ascending support, guys, come down and collapse this $3.50 level, we will be bearish. As then in that, rhyme or reason, we've pretty much been building up energy over the last few months to go a leg lower. And in these volatile times, guys, where it re-enters this phase, if you don't see the break over the top being that 450 and ultimately $5 resistance level, things could get very patchy, kind of just start to drag off. But once again, guys, there's a lot of room to the upside. So definitely a lot more room to the upside than the down. I am leaning bullish, but we're going to let stock decide for us, guys. And we'll continue to cover this as the weeks transpire. If you enjoyed the video, like, subscribe, all that. We'll be covering BBAI a couple times a week. Depends how many times you guys want to see the videos. With that being said, have a good day. Take care and peace.